What's going on, Pixel Hackers? Christian Lovrecich from PixlFeed here. In this video, we're gonna go over my top 10 ad agency secrets. But before we get started, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's dive right in. All right, my top 10 ad agency secrets. And this is in no certain order. These are just the top 10 that I use all the time, that I know people use all the time, and I notice all the time because they work. They just work. Okay, so let's go over it. Number one, it's going to be KISS. And I'm not talking about the band. I'm talking about keep it simple, stupid. All right, perfect example. A lot of you try to overcomplicate things or try to sound a lot smarter than you need to, because a lot of people think that if you use big words, if you use a big vocabulary, and if you really show something in a very complicated way, it makes it better or it makes it stand out because of all the complicated ways it comes together. I have news for you. It doesn't, okay? You gotta remember, when it comes to writing copy or showing off a product, you have to make it super simple for people to understand. So the biggest example that I use for this is 5th grade reading level. I literally yell at one of my copywriters all the time, and Jonathan, if you're watching this is you, because he tends to go on these dictionary thesaurus rampages where he learns all these new words and then he wants to use them in the copy, and I'm like, no, 5th grade level material. Think about it. You want everyone in your audience to be able to understand what you're trying to explain to them. Not everybody went to college. Not everybody has a PhD. Not everybody reads all the time. So the more simple you make it to understand, like if you're explaining it to a 5-year-old, that's what your copy should read like. There's a reason why a certain someone won the election in uneducated states, because of the way he communicated to others, and it worked. All right, so it's number one, keep it stupid simple. Number two, I've talked about this before in this channel. Sell the benefits, not the features. All right, so let's talk about a product. Let's use a car. So if you're trying to sell a, let's say, Ferrari 488 Italia, right? So most people, if you're a guy, if you're talking to your buddies, you're like, yeah, V12, 6.8 liter or whatever it is, 6-speed manual, transmission. If you were to write the copy for Ferrari, you're not gonna sit there and be like, Ferrari, the newest Ferrari is here, 488 Italia, V12, manual gearbox, fast sequence, speed shifting. I don't know, I'm just making stuff up. Blah, whatever, tires. No. They never just go with the actual features. If you look at an ad by Ferrari, right, whether it's a video or in print or anything like that, they're always gonna sell you the benefits. What's the benefit of owning a Ferrari? Feel the power, be in control, the ultimate performance, right? Now it's triggering those emotions, right? Control, performance, that's how they sell a Ferrari. They don't sell the features. They sell you the feelings of owning a Ferrari, which brings me to the next one. Put your biggest benefit as the headline. What do I mean by that? Whether it's a funnel or ad copy, put the biggest benefit of the product that you're trying to sell as the headline. So we'll go back to the Ferrari. What's the Ferrari? Power, control, performance. But nothing says that you arrived like a Ferrari. Simple as that. What is that? Everybody knows what a Ferrari stands. Ferrari stands for success, for luxury, for being in power, right? So when you write something as simple as nothing says you arrived like a Ferrari, everybody gets it, man. I'm thinking about it. And it's like, I'm literally picturing myself pulling up in my Ferrari, right? So it's that simple. See, do you guys get how that can invoke emotions? Look, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. See, it works. All right. Number 4, crank up the scarcity. Scarcity sells. All right? Scarcity sells. Let me give you an example. So just for Black Friday, and it's one of the videos too, we hyped up Black Friday for a week. It was a week of 2 emails a day, just hyping up the sale we're gonna have at Black Friday. But what made our Black Friday sales special is that we didn't do it like everybody else and did a whole month-long sale or the whole weekend, including Cyber Monday. No, we hyped up our Black Friday sale, but our Black Friday sale was just on Friday only, and it ends on Friday at midnight, or Saturday at midnight, whatever you want to put it. I think it was, yeah, at midnight. So when we started cranking up the emails the morning of Black Friday, it was all about selling the benefits, right, of owning the product that we're pushing, and how much longer they have left until they can buy it. Not only that, but we started including how many we had left in stock as the emails kept going out throughout the day. So not only we had a timer that kept reminding you that the sale ended at X amount of hours, right, every couple hours when we sent the email, but we also had a counter showing how many were gone and how many we had left in stock. Scarcity sells. And guess what happened? The closer we got to the end of the night, the more the sales went up, because they knew once that deal was gone, it was game over and it was done and they would have never seen it again. You have to train your audience that letting them know that your scarcity is true. So if you're selling a product and you say the sale ends tonight, that sale better end that night or that day or at that time. That goes with every sale. Don't be one of those brands that has a sale every other day. All right, you can have sales, but when you do a sale, mean it. When you add scarcity only in the next few hours, mean it and end it. Trust me, because this is a long game, especially when it comes to e-com. Once they know that you're mean business with your sales and your scarcity, they will take action right away, because FOMO, fear of missing out. No one wants to miss out, especially in a good deal. So make sure you mean it. Number 5, again, this comes back to copy, because copy is powerful. So use psychological. I don't think I spelled that right. Psychological headlines. What is a psychological headline? I refer to a psychological headlines as headlines and copy that looks like a news article that plays into your psyche. So you guys have probably seen some of these type of ads. So new study shows that using solar power saves you X amount of money per year or per month or per week, right? Click the button below to check out the said study. And then they click on the button and they land on a funnel that looks like literally like a newspaper article, right? And then it's all hitting their emotions throughout the article, right? You're talking about, hitting their pocket, saving money, and all that good stuff. And when you're talking about saving money and all that stuff, and you present it as a news article, as a research study, right? You don't lie and you say it's like if it's not a real study, don't lie and say it's a real study. But play the psychological factor, because that gets in their head, and then they're going to read the whole copy, most of them at least, and then they're going to take action, especially when you ask for that call to action. All right, so remember, use a psychological headline. So in the more detailed, the better you are. So for example, this 3 very Italian men make the best pizza in Fort Lauderdale. See how detailed that is? It's psychological. No, these three Italian men make the pizza to kill for, right? That's a psychological play on words, right? So you want to invoke those feelings, right? Number 6, be the purple cow. What do I mean by that? I learned that one from Seth Godin, I think his name is. Be the purple cow. The purple cow means stand out. Be different. How can you stand out in the feed, especially if you're running Facebook ads, all right? Or whatever you do. I'm not saying reinvent your product to something completely different unless you do a lot of testing and you figure out that that's what the market wants. But I'm talking about basically about ads. How do you stand out on the feed? For example, a lot of people have their ads are in color. So hey, here's one, be the purple cow. How do you become the purple cow? Make your ad in black and white. Guess what? When you're scrolling, if everything's in pretty colors, all of a sudden you see a black and white ad, that's gonna stand out, right? What's another way to be a purple cow? Everybody's using normal pictures of your product. If you look at the product, this is my favorite one. Everyone right now, it's December 2020. Everyone right now is obsessed with pastel colors in their ads. You know what I'm talking about? Those pastel colors like that, those like 50s looking like yellow or green or like, boring pink, that it's becoming like overplayed. Those organic looking colors. You guys know what I'm talking about. Guess what? Do an ad where your color's bright fucking red, or like literally bright purple or bright fuchsia, where it just like stands out on the feed, right? That's how you become the purple cow. That's how you stand out from everybody else, right? What else? Okay, the power, let's look at my notes. The power of questions. Okay, power of questions. The power of questions is so powerful, and this comes from sales too. The more questions you ask, the more micro agreements you're gonna get back, right? The more times someone says yes, the more they're likely to convert. Okay, so when it comes to the power of questions, it's all about micro agreements. It's like of course I can't think of an example right there on the spot right now. But let's go back to the Ferrari. Yeah, lovely car, right? Yeah, it's a lovely car. And it's fast, isn't it? Oh yeah, it's super fast. Can you picture yourself in that car? Absolutely, man. I can picture myself driving that car. Imagine, taking it to the club, all the chicks coming at you, whatever. Oh yeah, absolutely. So you're getting all those micro agreements, and I know those are horrible questions, but I'm thinking top of my head. So when you're writing your copy, make sure you ask micro agreement questions, right? Because the more times someone says yes, the more likely they're gonna say yes when you ask for that sale. So micro agreements are very powerful, and the way to get micro agreements is by asking questions. Next, it's going to be social proof. Okay? Social proof is very powerful. Don't lie when it comes to your social proof. So if you have a product, send it out to bloggers, reviewers, try to send it to anybody that has an outlet, micro influencers, people on YouTube. Have them review your product. Have them use your product for free or your service. Once they do it and they give you the, oh my God, this is awesome, you can add that to your landing page or to your ads as seen on X, whatever the blog is, or used by X, the influencer or the artist or whatever, or recommended by, another influencer like a tech blog or something. Think about it this way. That's social proof. Social proof can be very powerful because think about it. If people give it this, if an important publication or an influencer that people, in your niche gives it the stamp of approval, people already say, oh, cool, so-and-so uses it, so it must be a good product. Totally, I'll buy it right now. Another form of social proof, it's going to be testimonials. So if you have a good product and you're getting good reviews and testimonials, feel free to use that in your copy. Use it in your copy, right? Another one that I have that it's related to your social proof is going to be UGC. What does UGC stand for? UGC stands for user-generated content. And the way to do this is you bribe your customers with gifts, with discounts, and do whatever you can in your power to get them to send you videos or pictures of them using your product. Real ones. Don't tell them what to say. Don't tell them what to do. Just be like, hey, we're looking for user-generated video reviews of our products. If you like it, send it to us and we'll pick a winner. We'll give you a $60 Amazon card or something like that. User-generated content is the most powerful thing that you can use. It's basically an ad that's done by somebody who loves your product. And when you're advertising on social media, whether it's Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, or YouTube, People are those are social media platforms. They're expecting to see one of their friends or somebody. They're not expecting to see a fully blown produced commercial. And I can tell you right now, as someone who does a lot of ads, user-generated content wins 100% of the time. So if you can, user-generated content wins most of the time. I shouldn't say 100% of the time because you should always be testing, but I can assure you at least 80% of the time, user-generated content is gonna win, especially on Facebook. And number 10, this is my favorite. Long copy versus short. What do you guys think wins every single time? And we can argue this all day long, and I have the data to back it up. And tons of people have the data to back it up. I cannot tell you how many times people have come up to me and be like, oh my God, that copy is so long. No one's going to read that. And then we put a next short copy versus long copy. And guess who wins every single time? Long copy. Because if you know how to write an ad and you know how to target your audience and you have a good product that that audience wants, they're going to read it. And even if they don't go all the way down and read the whole thing halfway through, even if they stop halfway through, guess what? They're going to pull the trigger. Because the more that you connect with that audience, the more details that you offer your audience, the more benefits that you bring up to your audience, the more emotions that you bring up to your audience when you're with your copy, the most likely they're going to pull the trigger. Long copy wins every single time. And those right there are my top 10 agency secrets. The ones that we use the most, the ones that I know people who are successful in this industry use the most. But there's one bonus secret I want to give you guys. And this is my favorite one because no one ever believes me. And this is the one that you should pay attention to all the time. You should be doing all the time when it comes to every single campaign. I don't care what you're doing. You always, always, always test. Always be testing new things. Even if you're sure something's gonna work, guess what? Always do a version B of it because you never know what you might find out when you test. And I know some of you hate to hear those words because I used to hate getting that answer when I was starting out in this business. But guess what? Now I get it. You should always be testing. Guys, if you like this video, make sure to click the links in the description below. Help support the channel. And if you guys want to keep learning about Facebook ads or digital marketing in general, make sure to click one of the boxes right above me. And I will see you guys in the next video.